Alright, so now we're at the final unit of the Tier 1 episode here. So we're going to discuss the Overlord. Now the Overlord is one of the units that you cannot live without. You have to have the Overlord, and I'll tell you why. For one, it's your supply. So if you don't have an Overlord, you're going to be under supply. You need to keep making Overlords in order to keep making more units. And they are your scouts, they are your observers, they are your spreaders of creep, they are your drop ships. They are probably the most important unit of the Zerg arsenal. And it's not an attacking unit, it's just an observer. But it also makes it the most valued and also makes it the most attacked or the most coveted unit to attack, or the most harassed unit. Because you can get Void Ray Rush and they will go and snipe your Overlords. You can get Phoenix Rush, you can get Viking Rush. Hell, I've even seen Terrans pop out one Marine before anything and just start sniping Overlords just for the heck of it, to do some more harassment. So early on, the Overlord doesn't have any of these options here. It's just there. And it's a biological unit. It is an armored unit. So it states it's an armored unit here, and it has 200 hit points. So it's a pretty beefy unit, but it has to be, otherwise it would be too easy to snipe. And the thing about that is that it moves incredibly slow, and it's not able to be upgraded. The speed isn't able to upgrade it until you get a lair, and I'm not going to put that in here because it's not tier 1. So the Overlord speed is just so darn slow. It's probably the slowest of all units other than the Queen off the creep. It's really not that good of a scout in the beginning, but if you're close to your opponent, or you have the possibility of being close to your opponent, you can pretty much use the Overlord to scout and whatnot. And proper Overlord placement is not necessarily right over your enemy's base, as it can get sniped pretty quick. There are scenarios or situations later on in game when you have the speed upgrade to where you'll suicide an Overlord, and that's where you just pretty much send in an Overlord into your opponent's base, knowing that it's going to die, but you need to do that to get the kind of scouting information in order to counter your opponent. But typical Overlord placement is right around the edge, so you can pretty much just put an Overlord right around the edge here and see what they're doing, or you can put one up next to a ramp. That way you can see if your opponent's moving out. You can put it right next to your opponent's ramp. That way, you can tell if they're moving out or anything like that. So you don't want to put it just right over the enemy base. You kind of want to put it off to the side, because it does have a pretty good field of vision, so you can pretty much just see what your opponent's doing and not really put it in all that much danger. So that pretty much concludes this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and next episode I'm going to talk about tier 1.5 units, and I'm also going to show you some build orders of how to do the speedling rush and so on. So I hope you enjoyed this, and more to come.